Hello, I'm Colleen Martelli, and I'm a graduate student at Regent University seeking my master's degree in theater. A Midsummer Night's Dream, the Mimetic Analysis. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, William Shakespeare deals with the incoherent and the coherent as a work of art and as an intellectual statement. Rene Girard states Shakespeare's Midsummer is his first masterpiece, a veritable explosion of genius. Page 29. The story appears to consist of three subplots that are equally pointless, with mindless lovers who aren't responsible for their own actions. Their jealousy and infidelity have come across as having nothing to do with true love. The sudden, unaccountable changes in each lover's countenance and behavior appears to be random and without purpose. However, Gerard contends that their genius for desiring at cross purpose is too valuable to result from chance. Page 30. Shakespeare uses the name of the magical flower, love in idleness, to suggest that the young aristocrats in the plot are spoiled and privileged. Gerard maintains that Shakespeare is making plausible suggestions by creating an entangled web of relationships to escalate a mimetic interaction among a rivalry of lovers that is so fierce, violent chaos erupts, only to eventually boomerang back to a happy ending. Midsummer must be viewed in a mimetic light by disregarding the love potion and account for each incident individually. In this regard, it ceases from being an arrangement of diverse plots and becomes a single dynamic process that embraces all three subplots. Shakespeare uses mimetic desire to speak through the rhetoric of the lovers. As Gerard states, the work in which the mimetic desire that governs human relations in Shakespeare was fully mastered for the first time and dramatized as a global system, a source for all social integration as well as disintegration. Page 30. Midsummer constitutes a stupendous theory of the conflictual side of mimesis, as well as the cohesive power it possesses. As the hysteria of the night increases, Shakespeare escalates the story into a powerful interpretation of dramatic trickery, utilizing monstrous hallucinations with the manifestation of the apparition of fairies among the lovers acting out their own mimetic offenses towards one another. Demetrius is in love with Hermia and will follow her wherever she goes. Helena is in love with Demetrius and will follow him wherever he goes. The two lovers accompany Lysander and Hermia in the night, stirring up discord. In the beginning, Lysander and Demetrius are madly in love with Hermia. The possibility of them forsaking her seems unlikely, yet the unthinkable happens, and Lysander abandons her and falls in love with Helena. Soon afterwards, Demetrius forgets about Hermia, and he too falls in love with Helena. Gerard is unwilling to attribute the change in Lysander and Demetrius to the puckish love juice. When something is hardly believable occurs for the first time and almost immediately occurs a second time, Gerard credits the repetition to mimicry, page 32. In order to satisfy those who believe in true love, who have a great capacity for faith and never suspect the possibility of mimicry, Shakespeare uses the fairy's magical love potion to provide a sufficient explanation. Gerard gives us further insight into Shakespeare's crafty methodology. He uncovers more clues to reveal evidence of mimesis as opposed to the fairy's love potion causing the turmoil. Notice both Demetrius and Lysander are always in love with the same girl at the same time. Their discourses are similar and remain unchanged when they shift from one girl to another. Demetrius and Lysander are sternly convinced their new love is strictly voluntary and logical. Gerard contends that Demetrius imitates Lysander because he took Hermia away from him. Demetrius, being the defeated rival, is highly discontented and even more competitive towards his vicious opponent, Lysander. Demetrius's desire for Hermia remains as long as Lysander desires her. As soon as Lysander shifts his interest to Helena, Demetrius mimics his actions and he shifts his interest towards Helena. Gerard maintains that Demetrius is such a compulsive imitator that if Lysander fell in love with a third girl in the group, Demetrius would quickly follow. Consider when Lysander turns his interest from Hermia to Helena. No one else is in love with her, so it appears that his love is truly spontaneous. However, Gerard calls attention to the prehistory summary at the beginning before the action begins. The summary sheds light on erotic, mischievous behavior of the four lovers. Prior to the opening, Helena and Demetrius were in love with each other, but this affair was short-lived as Helena explains how Hermia destroyed her love affair with Demetrius. For ere Demetrius looked upon Hermia's eye, he hailed down oaths that was only mine, and when this hail some heat from Hermia felt, so he dissolved in showers of oath did melt. Gerard poses the question, why does Hermia seduce Demetrius from her best friend only to abruptly drop him and fall in love with someone else? Hermia's love for Demetrius did not last very long, so could it have possibly been motivated by true love? According to Gerard, Hermia's love for Demetrius was only driven by mimetic rivalry between two friends. What resulted from this mischievous behavior? Demetrius is still in love with Hermia because she jilted him for Lysander. Helena is still in love with Demetrius because he jilted her for Hermia. Hermia stole Demetrius from Helena in mimetic rivalry. And once the rivalry is over, she loses interest in Demetrius. Hermia defeats Helena over Demetrius. However, once Demetrius is no longer transfigured by the power of mimetic rivalry, he loses his prestige and is doomed no longer desirable to Hermia. With no rival to compete for, Hermia finds Demetrius uninspiring and becomes drawn to the more erotic Lysander. Gerard states, whenever an imitator successfully appropriates the object designed by his or her model, the transfiguration machine ceases to function. Demetrius yields to Hermia's flattery and advancements because Helena was not challenging enough to hold his interest. The root of all desertions lie in the disenchantment of all unchallenged possessions, which legitimizes Gerard's theory. When mimetic desire is thwarted, it intensifies. When it succeeds, it withers away. Page 34. Shakespeare utilizes these aspects discreetly and directly. The dynamics of Midsummer are the manifestation of Gerard's mimetic theory. Gerard brings out how Shakespeare emphasizes the strength and stability that come from an unfulfilled desire and supplements this emphasis with an equal emphasis on the instability of a fulfilled desire. Gerard contends Lysander abandons Hermia in the night because of disenchantment. Lysander has defeated his mimetic rival, and Hermia is truly his. In the absence of indispensable stimulus of mimetic rivalry, Helena is appealing to him because she has no interest in Lysander. The summer night's rivalry began in the prehistory summary. Demetrius was unfaithful to Helena, and then Hermia was unfaithful to Demetrius. Lysander was unfaithful to Hermia, and finally Demetrius was unfaithful to Hermia. Gerard uses the prehistory summary to support his theory that the love juice cannot be an excuse for the infidelities that occur in the lovers. The infidelities can only be explained by the mimetic rivalry that exists among the four lovers. More than a few infidelities occur in the night. The prehistoric infidelities and the historical ones reveal there is more than one single triangular conflict. Midsummer suggests there are clusters of combinations, each generating off the other and resulting from the same mimetic rivalry. There is a mimetic rivalry between Helena and Hermia, and between Lysander and Demetrius. Hermia has been unfaithful to Demetrius. Demetrius has been unfaithful to Helena. Both Demetrius and Lysander have been unfaithful to Hermia. Each love triangle mimics the other as a mirror image. In Midsummer, Shakespeare's interest lies in the portrayal of the mimetic process, where he seems to focus on the appearance of a contradictory uniformity resulting in mimetic law. Within the mimetic law, Gerard states, no love affair can succeed unless it fails, and no one can fail unless it succeeds. 42. In the moment of the midsummer night, each member of the love quadrangle desires a member who does not desire him or her, or is desired by a member whom he or she doesn't desire. Everyone is so mimetic that the desires tend to all be clumped together, forming a huge desire for one and the same object. At the beginning of the night, Hermia is the object of everyone's desire, including Helena, and even Hermia herself is focused on herself. By the middle of the night, Helena is in the center of the focus group. Even Hermia has shifted her focus from herself to Helena. She is so intensely jealous of Helena that she physically attacks her. Helena is the only one of the four lovers who does not change the object of her desire at any point during the summer night. She is constant. However, Gerard contends she is not above mimicry. At the high point of her being the one who is desired, Helena briefly succumbs to mimetic rivalry. Her gentleness turns to shrewish behavior when Hermia attacks her. She says, oh, when she's angry, she's keen and shrewd. She was a vixen when she went to school, and though she be little, she is fierce. I will not trust you. I no longer stay in your crust company. Your hands than mine are quicker for fray. My legs are stronger, though you run away. In the beginning of the night, Hermia has erotic success. Lysander and Demetrius are both infatuated with her, and Helena worships her fascination. The boy's desire for Hermia has no logical justification outside of mimesis. Helena is just as beautiful as Hermia, if not more. Helena states, though through Athens I am thought of as fair. Shakespeare reveals that mimetic desire has nothing to do with reality. Helena knows she is just as pretty as Hermia, yet it is of no comfort to her at all. Mimetic defeat has destroyed Helena's self-image. In her opening dialogue, she states, can you call me fair? That fair again unsay. Demetrius loves your fair. Oh, happy fair. Your eyes are lodestars, and your tongue sweet air, more tunable than lark to shepherd's ear. Sickness is catching. Oh, were so favor so. Yours would I catch, fair Helena, ere I go. My ear would catch your voice. My eye, your eye. My tongue should catch your sweet melody. Were the world mine, Demetrius being baited, the rest eyes give you to be translated. Helena is convinced if she were Hermia, she could seduce Demetrius. So she wants to be Hermia because Demetrius is what she desires to have. Helena wants to be her model, Hermia. Girard contends that the real priorities of mimetic desire is summed up as such. However desirable an object may be, it pales in comparison with the model who gives it value. Even though Helena is desperately in love with Demetrius, his status is minimized in the presence of Helena. In her dialogue with Hermia, Helena hardly mentions Demetrius. Girard insists that Hermia is Helena's rival of mimetic desire. Her extreme frustration reveals a crucial point that Shakespeare deliberately illustrates. Through Helena's relationship with Hermia, Shakespeare focuses more on the desire itself. Desire makes the mimetic truth more visible. Hermia is Helena's mimetic model, and Hermia says, "Oh, teach me how you look, and with what art you sway the motion of Demetrius' heart." To this, Helena responds, "I frown on him, yet he still loves me." Demetrius clings to Hermia, no matter how badly he treats her. She treats him, thus proving what mimetic context states. Successful rivalry extinguishes desire, whatever failure exasperates it. Hermia's relationship with Demetrius illustrates the desire extinguished. Demetrius loves Hermia because of her indifference towards him. Helena loves Demetrius because of his indifference towards her. Mimetic desire focuses directly on whatsoever obstacle seems most discouraging and disdain, for rejection appears to be most desirable. Mimetic desire efficiently programs its victims for maximum frustration. In Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare satirizes a society of individuals enslaved to one another. He seeks, he mocks a desire that always seeks to differentiate and distinguish itself through imitation of someone else, but achieves the opposite results. According to Girard, the genius of Shakespeare in Midsummer is how he refrains from making the flippant aspects of his play obvious. He knew his play had to appear harmless and conventional for a conservative audience. However, at the same time, he knew there would be clever people in his audience expecting him to be delightfully scandalous and witty. He had to write for both groups in such a way that each group would find Midsummer well suited. Shakespeare included the first scene as a part of his scheme to make certain Midsummer would pass as a reassuring comedy and as well as suit the strategy for concealing the mimetic rivalry. Thank you for listening to my mimetic analysis of Midsummer Night's Dream.